The introvert's dilemma. How many of us need space and time to process the daily drudgeries, right? This is where so many people go with that idea that I need so much energy to process the daily drudgeries that I put myself through in order to make it through this world. The world isn't on my shoulders, is it? How many of us are placing the world on our shoulders because we feel like we're placing ourselves in a world that is geared towards other forms of being? Okay? How many people want to know what it's like to label yourself an introvert, to rise in the beauty of it, and to say, I am all that and more? Okay? This is one of those souls that would say, let's unite in the freedom from the label, right? Okay, this is the beauty. Some of us automatically know, I need my time and space to go in to process the beauty of who I am. I need to create, is where a lot of us go. I need time to create. And that means going in. Others will say, my creative expression is done with many. Or I'm the vibrant personality that goes out and shares my music with others. Or my writing, right? But how many people will say, it's those introverts that drive us crazy with their complaining? You see, so many people are tired of hearing about the nature of I need space and time. How many people don't know what that really means? It's the energetic recharge of my internal value system, right? No, this is literally our energy systems are being wired by our thoughts and our minds. Our personality types can be brought into it, but honestly, this is not about a type. It's about those systems of development that say, I just love who I am no matter what. And if I need time and space to come into my own being, and it could be literally just to process the day's work, right? How many of us are struggled because we are overwhelmed by the sensories? It's the sensory data around us. Some of us have those open fields of development that say it's a curse, right? Others are saying it can be labeled as such. And when we do that, what happens? Do we allow ourselves to fall victim to the nature of it? Or do we embolden ourselves to be honest in our communication, not only with our own hearts, but with those around us who would say, I understand. My life does not work according to a label. Okay. But what we do is many are on that path of this is part of who I am. I could be labeled anything or everything, right? That's what some people will do. And they'll say, does this fit me? Or does this fit me? And when we find a label that fits, it can either release us into this vision of, oh, I finally get it. Okay, so this is for those who are still in that vision of, I don't label it as a bad thing. Okay, but some people do. And so with the energy of our hearts, we would say, let's have compassion for those of us who understand it from a certain type of understanding versus those who are frustrated with us for having to be that way, right? Others will say, I'm frustrated. I want to be those vibrant personalities that go out and they go, 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 and they don't get tired. Their own struggles are in a vision of pandemic even, right? How many of us are being limited in our visions? It depends. We set ourselves up for situations that either enhance our experience of the world or they can hinder. It's not black or white, right? We can ride those waves of both. Okay? That's the beauty of most characteristics, right? They have those limits, though. So, the limits that people have on their hearts can help them to focus on the subject at hand, right? So, if I go into a work situation, as Brenda did, going, wow, I could work here, they have great benefits, right? Or this is where I place myself. And immediately when you go in, let's think about this. Someone who goes into retail, and if you're surrounded by people all day long with a lot of noise, you can either expect to be energized by that vision or enhanced, or you could be, this is going to be hard for me. Now, we can place ourselves in that mindset, and others are going to say, I know already that's not the place for me. Okay? Now, what do we do with this topic? Okay, so here's the nature of it. It's a spectrum like anything else. So there's no black and white. There's no way to say for sure whether someone is being enhanced by their vision or if they're being hindered by it. And for those of us who are working with the idea that there's the daily drudge, right? Look in and see if it is because you are not able to spend enough time with yourselves. That's an obvious one, right? But how many people know what it's like to never need that again? Okay? And what we mean by that is energy flows, right? The energy flow of our hearts. It could be that the time that I create for myself isn't the quality that I want. So just spending time on a video game might be what's called for, right? Some people will say, I need to go in and I need to just be by myself, but then they choose to go do activities versus I need time to process the energy of those around me. That can create a dynamic of I'm, either lifting myself up, I'm analyzing the data. We often analyze data, right? The data of the day, right? What are we focused on when we do our inner work? Are we saying to ourselves, gosh, I wish I had more energy? We reinforce it. This one knows that one very well. Literally not knowing how to unwind the vision of I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm not alone, I'm tired, okay? And that's what she had to deal with on a soul level. Now, how do you work yourself into that vision of, I need to communicate my needs? I love who I am when I'm energized. I don't need so much alone time that it disconnects me from the society in which I reside. Some people may be that extreme in their expression. But the majority of us love people. You see, that's the thing. A lot of people assume that just because we want to be by ourselves, that somehow we're the hermits of the world. We need to process. We need to decondition ourselves from everything else that's being put on us when we ourselves know something in our hearts isn't quite right. Usually you will feel the drain on others, right? Or around others. It's because we've placed this energy of I'm open to the sensory data around me. Now, what does that mean? Often it is a state of being that has been placed upon us by our souls for us to experience the world in the most amazing ways ever. Have you never thought about the ecstatic state of awareness? See, that's where you can go, right? You can take that sensory data and you can amplify it. It's how you work it that makes the biggest difference in this world. Do I analyze the data and continually reinforce the negative of either my career choice or those souls around me? Or do I analyze the vision of how do I turn this into a beautiful expression of love for myself and others? So we want people to understand It's not about saying there's a wrong way to be or a right way to be. It's never that easy. Okay, but so many people tend to look at people, especially as young ones growing up. We're not the ones that want to necessarily go to all the parties. We're looked at as not fun. I get that a lot. You aren't fun, except when I am, right? Or it could be that personality type that I embody. Most people will come across the vision of a type or a system that's going to label them one thing or another. Do you start to change the way you are, or have you always been that way? I was always the internal reflector, reflecting back to myself who I am by placing my needs less than others. That's often the problem. I have a reflective personality where I go in and I say, how much energy do I have to give to everybody else versus what is needed for my own creative abilities in whatever way I choose that serves who I am. Now, from a soul of understanding, this can be hard when you go through the process of soul embodiment, because it is a natural tendency to want to reflect out to others, I love you for your creative abilities. How many people in this world know that a lot of those extroverted souls are just as beautiful? This is not saying extroverts are somehow bad or, less than. Goodness gracious, it's not. It's a spectrum of energy. But what we have to learn are those strategies or those tips, right? There's so many books about the tips, but honesty is the best policy. We have to get honest with ourselves and our partners and our friends and our loved ones about what we need. As adults, we start to carry those traits into those views of, I can see it in others. And we have to start teaching ourselves how to be more open to the honesty of, I love you, I just don't want to be around you all the time. Okay? That's the nature of what some people are facing. They have those souls that get off, right? That they're happy, right? You have to be honest with people. Now, this can be hard, but it can free us from some of those expectations of others that they have, that we feel the same way that they do about being around people. It's well known. So what's the dilemma? Do I tell my boss I need my own space? You see, that's the nature of where most people start to kind of freak out, because they're like, I have to get real. Did I set myself up in a situation that is not conducive to the energy needs that I claim that I need? Many are very much claiming they need more energy than what they have, and they will start to blame others around them. It is not about blaming anyone else's energy. This is about our own space, our own hearts, and our own minds to do the work that's necessary to make sure and to limit our expression. So some people will say labeling myself anything other than beautiful is a limitation. It is, but it can also help you explain to others the differences in our energy expression. Okay, not everyone wants to be labeled an introvert or an extrovert. It's limiting in that vision, but it's a creative endeavor by many to use that vision of, I understand. That's what we want others. So there's this big push for people to say, I am this. And that's an effort for people to try to get the understanding from others that I love you, I just don't want to be around you all the time, right? Or I love this career, I may need to change or alter it a bit so that it better reflects the vision of I'm more solo in my expression. Notice how I'm not one of those people going up on a stage at this point, right? How many performers you know are actual introverts that do that vision rather than I'm placing myself in a group situation where I'm interacting all the time with people. Look at those professions and ask yourself, which ones cater to my needs? Okay. Now, the struggles that we have on, in the mind, that's the mind, and others will say when you go to soul vision and soul embodiment, your soul will reinforce those visions for you. You will be taken down in energy very fast if something isn't right for you. You will literally be feeling it like the drain out of the body in an instant. And this is a little bit different than being introverted or extroverted, but it's about the nature of the energy is real. So when we tell introverts, oh, you're making it up, it is not all in our minds. And they know that. Now, how many extroverts that identify or, with that would say, I have to be around people. My circumstances in a remote location limit my ability to extrovert and connect with those souls in the most vibrant ways possible, right? There's no definition that's ever going to come through that's going to satisfy every soul. Okay, but what we want is when you come to this vision of soul work, it is energy, it is real. I'm here to validate those souls. Okay, I live it day by day, whether or not I'm charged up to do the work or whether I have now placed myself in a vision of I need to rest. I do the extreme version of energy work by doing the vision of I've embodied my soul. That means I don't get to just try to trick myself into feeling better about who I am. I come into the vision of I love my creative abilities. I love my ability to admit that I don't create the best visions for all of us all the time. That's me. Right? I'm not here to try and reinforce victimhood. I'm here trying to reinforce the ability to tell you that it is a dilemma that can be unwound. And it's about being gentle with ourselves and honest with others. If we feel energy drain, what does that say? It is usually that we're not creating in the way that we want to with somebody else. And that could be part of it. Or we are not doing the thing that would actually fill our buckets. Okay? And this could be a circumstantial, a circumstance that we've placed ourselves in. Or it could be the beauty of my body needs to be recharged in a different way. Some of us have no clue what fills our buckets yet. We think we know what makes us happy, and yet our bodies will say, I don't think so. Okay? A lot of us take a lot of time to figure out what serves us best. The energy that we put out is the energy we receive. How many want to know what that vision means? Do I complain about the introversion? Or do I broadcast it as a beautiful expression of love, and the energy that I put into the vision is what I will receive back from it? How many people are riding that wave of introversion and saying, God, it feels good to just be by myself and to allow myself to create from a place of love for all? That's what I do. And that's what it's going to take for a lot of souls, right? To go in and to rise into the vision of, I can feel the vibration of all souls. That's one beautiful benefit of introversion, is that they often are those souls that can also embody the vision of empathy. Okay? And I already have videos about the victimhood of that if we fall into that trap. So this isn't about reinforcing any one type or vision, that's somehow better. They all have their own ideas of what's limiting or what's empowering. So how do we empower ourselves as the empaths or as the introverts? Let's go to the introverts. We shout loud and proud, right? No, we're in the corner sitting there going, oh my gosh, everyone wants me to, play this or do this. And I push myself. A lot of times we force ourselves into those situations. And we say, was that so bad? And it's about taking those steps into empowerment as an introvert. I don't have to play the game of life like my best friend, right? That's what a lot of us do. We're comparing ourselves to others, and we see their vibrancy or their extroversion as the best thing ever, not realizing that they themselves have their own energy drains depending on the situations in which they have placed themselves. So if you do have the vibrancy of introversion, that's the key. How do we stop labeling extroversion as vibrant and introverts as somehow what? Stagnant because what? We go in and stay home, right? Everyone assumes that if you stay home, you are somehow limiting your experience of the world. Guess what? You go to soul, that's one of the main things that you'll end up doing is going in, because you're with your own guides, your own soul, your own process, and you're doing your work. Not everyone follows that path. Others will then go, I'm going to go extrovert with a bunch of other people. This is where we often take on others' visions. So you see, in one field of vision, the extroverts of the world are out there broadcasting their beauty very well, very vibrant, very, extravagant in some ways. And the introverts are in doing their inner work, right? Not even close. We have so many visions of what people do. Not every introvert is doing, we're all doing work, whether we're labeled this, that, or whatnot. Every single person is doing work. It depends on what you place your priorities on. You could be the creative genius in the world, but because you limit yourselves and your minds, you're not able to break free from the conditioning of society that says I have to work 9 to 5. 8 to 5, whatever your work. Now it's even more so for so many people. So that drain of energy is we're trying to make it. How many people just want to break free of society's constraints of what it is to be a successful person or a productive person? I get labeled lazy sometimes, right? Why? Because you find me off relaxing, literally doing soul work. That's how I was able to fly. It's not a hindrance to be an introvert. If you're focusing on other things that make you happy, that's beautiful, right? And that's the ticket into the beauty and the vibrancy of soul. It's not about I'm a beautiful person that can just express on the screen or on the stage, or, in a group somewhere. That's beautiful for those that do. And for those of us that say, I cater to the needs of others first, that's where we can rise into the vision of the dilemma of it. If we're in that vision of, I also people please, okay, that can be one of those visions of my energy goes to others first. Sometimes the child rearing for introverts can be some of the hardest things to do, depending on how you handle those vibrations. Because if you are like me, in that I was a stay-at-home mom, okay, that was a choice that I made. I was burned out, and I kept reinforcing that vision in my mind, okay? But it's true. And then I didn't ask for help. We need to be able to ask for help, if at all possible. And that's where that vision of where's my tribe, or where's my family? Where are those souls that can help us? If we can't help ourselves, who do we go to when we face those visions of, I can't give anymore? I can't give any more to anybody. That's where I was. And it broke my spirit. I was broken in my mind only. Okay? But it did. It created that, it's like a travesty of the soul. And then I was able to wait it out. And this is why a lot of people do that. I wait it out. And I wait until the vision of love comes through. It's not always easy for any person, any type, to do the work of love for themselves when we are so much in the vision of what we think we are here to do. I love who I am. That's the basic guidance for it. I want you guys to love you too, no matter where you rise. Okay? So that's the nature of it, is let's rise in the vision of I can be vibrant and beautiful on my own. I don't need to have an audience in order to be beautiful or rise in the vibration of I'm a vibrant, beautiful, honest, loving, caring soul. Kudos to all of us that can say that about themselves. Versus I hide in my closet. I've had that vision, by the way, just to break free of the energy of those around me. You want to know what that's like? So you see, I'm not here to try and spread like rumors about people, but there's a rumor that there are certain introverts on the line as a guide for soul vision who would say, I'm with this gal. She knows what she's talking about. So with this short but sweet vision of love, I want to honor the vision that let's keep planting those seeds for the introverts, in that I am going to vibrate in the beauty of who I am. I'm not going to label myself as anything other than vibrant in my own being, whether I do it in my own space or within the views of others. I have much compassion for all of you wherever you are. If you need to know whether your energy is truly being affected by those around you, please honor the vision of my mind creates havoc in many ways with others. A lot of it is the differences in how we are being. And with that in mind, I want to say, take an honest assessment of what is your responsibility to create the situations for yourself that serve you well and serve your families well, right? The obligation mindset is something we will talk about at another time. That's an energy vibration that is so strong, so very, very debilitating for so many people. And we want to honor that because we are living it in the moment. Everyone has obligations that they have to work through. How do we get over that idea of that energy of obligation? So, with that in mind, I want to say thank you very much for your love. And I'm wishing you all the best in your expressions of beauty wherever you lie on that spectrum. Take care and have a great day.